This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 27th day of March in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio issued a strong warning to Venezuela today during his visit to Guyana that if that country were to ever attack Guyana or ExxonMobil's assets offshore Guyana, there will be serious consequences for Venezuela that will begin with a very bad day.
It would be a very bad day for the Venezuelan regime if they were to attack Guyana or attack ExxonMobil or anything like. It would be a very bad day, a very bad week for them, and it would not end well for them.
Secretary Rubio said the U.S. remains a partner of Guyana and will stand by Guyana's side, noting that the U.S. government will not allow any illegitimate threats of a territorial claim by Venezuela against Guyana.
I'm not going to get into details of what we'll do. We're not big on those kinds of threats. I think everybody understands, and I want it to be clear. We've made this clear repeatedly. I think the U.S. Navy today is making it clear and demonstrating our ability to we have a big Navy, and it can get almost anywhere, it can get anywhere in the world. We have commitments that exist today with Guyana. We want to build on those, expand on those, and we'll leave it for the appropriate time. But suffice it to say that if that regime were to do something such as that, it would be a very bad move. It would be a big mistake.
Hours before Mr. Rubio touched down in Guyana, the U.S. Embassy and the Guyana Defense Force announced that the U.S. Navy and the Guyana Coast Guard were conducting joint exercises offshore Guyana and within Guyana's exclusive economic zone. That move comes 2 weeks after a Venezuelan Navy vessel made an incursion in Guyana's waters and sailed to the various oil ships operating in Guyana to question the captains via radio about their presence in those areas. Guyana had alerted the U.S. and the international community to that latest act of aggression and the ongoing threats from Venezuela. The U.S. Secretary of State was one of the first to condemn the actions of the Venezuelan government. Today, he assured Guyana that the U.S. has its back.
I said this during my time as a senator, and I have full confidence in saying it now as the Secretary of State. There will be consequences for adventurism. There will be consequences for aggressive actions. And that's why our partnership in that regard will be important. That is not what we want to be a feature of our relationship. But it is a necessity of our relationship because you have a very difficult challenge on your hands with a dictator that's making illegitimate territorial claims. And so you have our full commitment and support.
The government of Guyana and the U.S. government today signed a memorandum of understanding that focuses heavily on security, trade, and other related matters. More on that story coming up later on. Mr. Rubio left the country this afternoon. More news coming up in a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. It can start with one step or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Welcome back. Attorney General Anil Nandlal has revealed that the U.S. Justice Department has provided the government of Guyana with the information it requested on the alleged crimes committed by Guyanese billionaire Nazar Mohammed and his son Azruddin Mohammed and Government Permanent Secretary May Thomas, which led to them being sanctioned by the U.S. back in June of last year. On the sidelines of President Irfan Ali's joint press conference with the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio at State House, the Attorney General told reporters that the information has been handed over to the Guyana Revenue Authority and other law enforcement agencies, including the Guyana Police Force, for them to conduct their investigations and take appropriate action. Guyana had asked the U.S. to provide it with the evidence that led to the sanctions by the U.S. Treasury Department. The Department of Justice had also requested information from Guyana.
Through that exchange, the law enforcement agencies in Guyana, along with the Guyana Revenue Authority, have expressed the opinion that they have sufficient volume of evidence, information, data, documents, whatever you wish to call it, to proceed to act upon it. GRA, I suppose, will act upon the allegations of tax evasion. The the Guyana Police Force, through its appropriate departments, will act upon other aspects of the data or evidence which they feel presents an opportunity to activate certain processes. So that will take place shortly.
The Mohammeds were sanctioned over their alleged under-declaration of gold and the evasion of more than $50 million in local taxes, while Permanent Secretary May Thomas was sanctioned over her alleged involvement in the bribery scheme linked to the Mohammeds, and also her alleged role in offering protection from criminal prosecution and investigation, according to U.S. documents. The Attorney General said with the information in hand, it is now for the authorities to take appropriate action in keeping with the laws of Guyana. He, however, steered clear of indicating whether criminal charges could be instituted soon based on the information received regarding the crimes allegedly committed.
That process have thus far yielded a sufficient volume of information that the tax authorities feel and the law enforcement agencies in Guyana feel provide sufficient basis for them to begin their statutory processes.
And though Permanent Secretary Thomas was sanctioned along with the Mohammeds and their businesses, the Attorney General also steered clear of indicating whether Thomas would also be investigated by the law enforcement agencies.
I cannot speak for the law enforcement agencies nor the Guyana Revenue Authority, but I have no doubt that their approach will be one that would be objective and would be evidence-driven. I have no reason to think otherwise.
He said the process of sharing information is ongoing, with the Attorney General's Chamber and the Ministry of Home Affairs acting as conduits for the government of Guyana, while the GRA uses a separate channel.
Myself and the Home Affairs Minister are members of the government, but we don't investigate. We are simply the conduit. We pass the information on to the law enforcement agencies for them to investigate, interrogate, and form their opinions.
The Attorney General said the authorities have formally indicated to the Guyana government that they will take action soon. In recent days, the Mohammeds have accused the government of victimization after the government blocked the renewal of license for a number of their businesses owing to the sanctions. The Mohammeds have claimed that the government continued to transact business with them even after those U.S. sanctions. They believe the government's move now may be linked to the political aspirations of their son, Azruddin Mohammed. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio today announced that the U.S. government will be working with Guyana on illegal immigration, with a view to keep criminals out of the two countries. He said the policy would form part of a broader security architecture, which will see information sharing being a top priority.
So I think if we have information that someone has entered your country who has bad intentions, we want to be able to share that with your government, because you don't want that. You don't want those, if we have information on a Trinidad gang member from Venezuela, We want to make sure that we have collaboration and we're sharing that information.
Rubio was in Guyana as part of a Caribbean tour to advance the U.S. policy in the region. He noted that Guyana is transitioning from being a country where people primarily immigrated to one where immigration may become more prominent. He said the U.S. is working to support the shift. In addition, he said the country's growing economy, labor needs, and geography may make it easier for unsuspecting people to come in.
We want to prevent these problems from happening. So from the perspective of Guyana, which is not a source country of migration to the United States per se, illegal migration, but it is a country that receives. Unfortunately, you're getting a lot of people. And not everybody that comes here, I mean, most people are probably here to work hard and so forth, but not everyone.
The U.S. is involved in a series of migration governance needs assessments, including one for Guyana, to understand the challenges and opportunities in the region's migration systems. The U.S. is also seeking to foster regional unity and shared goals in migration management. Well, as we told you earlier, the Guyana Defense Force and the United States Navy are conducting a joint exercise offshore Guyana. The U.S. Navy cruiser USS Normandy and the Guyana Defense Force patrol vessel Shahud are conducting joint exercises in international waters and within the Guyana Exclusive Economic Zone. And this is to exercise communications and interoperability and practice joint maneuvers. In a statement announcing the exercise today, the U.S. Embassy explained that the exercise is a valuable opportunity for both the U.S. and Guyana militaries, and it reflects a close relationship between the two countries and the strength of the military-to-military cooperation. This is not the first time that Guyana is conducting a joint naval operation with the U.S. In recent years, the U.S. Coast Guard conducted several joint patrols with the Guyana Defense Force Coast Guard in Guyana's territorial waters to combat illegal fishing. During that operation, the USS used its Cutterstone vessel to patrol alongside the GDFS Metal Hawks and Eagle. The naval operations between the two countries stem from a shipwright agreement signed back in September of 2020 by the U.S. Secretary of State at the time, Mike Pompeo, and the former GDF Chief of Staff, Brigadier Godfrey Bess. The agreement allows the U.S. Coast Guard to patrol Guyana's waters alongside the GDF Coast Guard to combat illegal activities.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Guyana and the United States today signed a memorandum of understanding to deepen security cooperation between the two countries and to collectively address challenges confronting Latin America and the Caribbean. Under the agreement, the two countries will continue to counter narcotics trafficking and transnational organized crime. The agreement also lays the foundation for Guyana and the U.S. to strengthen information sharing, increase synthetic drug detection, and ramp up transnational organized crime investigations and prosecution, as well as military-to-military cooperation. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who visited Guyana today, said Guyana is presented with an opportunity to transform itself for generations to come. He said it is important to address the existing security challenges that confront not only the country, but the region.
But the basic element of any of this, the basic element of progress and transformation and prosperity is always security. So number one, we want to make sure that some of the tragic regional problems that exist with crime, transnational crime, we have a huge problem in the world right now with organized gangs and narco traffickers that destabilize societies. We want to make sure that never reaches here.
Mr. Rubio said the MOU is designed to prevent such crimes from taking root in Guyana and by extension the region. He also said a threat to Guyana's territorial integrity and sovereignty is also a threat to the region's peace.
The regional threats based on illegitimate territorial claims by a narco-trafficking regime. And I want to be frank, and I've said this during my time as a senator, and I have full confidence in saying it now as the Secretary of State. There will be consequences for adventurism. There will be consequences for aggressive actions. And that's why our partnership in that regard will be important.
President Irfan Ali thanked the U.S. government for its support and reassurance that it will continue to stand by Guyana amid the threats from Venezuela.
I am very pleased at the reassurance of the U.S. in ensuring the safeguard of our territorial integrity and sovereignty. Our partnership and joint commitment to the safeguard of this region from every disruptive force is key to the maintenance of democracy and adherence to the rule of law. The threats from Venezuela were specifically discussed. Their blatant violation of the ICJ order and Argyle Declaration were noted.
The president said the agreement will enhance partnerships in combating transnational crime inclusive of narco trafficking, human trafficking, money laundering, and all forms of smuggling. Vice President Barrett Jagdeo today announced that the government will be meeting with the Mayor and Town Council of Linden to hammer out issues relating to the removal of tolls from the Mackenzie-Wisman Bridge in the town, which will take effect from the 1st of August. Last weekend, President Irfan Ali announced that from the 1st of August, tolls will no longer be attached to the Mackenzie-Wisman Bridge, the Demerara Harbor Bridge, and the Berbice Bridge. However, the Linden Town Council said while it is not opposed to the crossing in Linden being made free, the government has not indicated how it will address the revenue shortfall that the town will face. The council said there were no consultations on the decision. At a press conference this afternoon, Mr. Jagdeo confirmed that a meeting will take place with the council on the issue.
We will meet with the town council in Linden. We will meet with them to discuss this matter. Because we don't want them to claim that the limited services that they provide to people, blame the government again for that. So that's why we'll meet with them to make sure they don't distort what's going on.
The vice president did not say whether the government will increase the subventions for the town council. However, he said the toll removal is a done deal.
Let me tell you that the president has already announced that all the people of the country will benefit from this. The people in Berbice, Region 5 and 6, the people in 4 and 3 who use the bridge, and also the people in Region 10, or anyone else who would use the bridge. We don't have many different policies.
Linden Mayor Sharma Solomon has noted that the tolls, which generate approximately $6 million per month in revenue for the council, have been a critical source of revenue, contributing to the town's annual budget. The mayor also expressed concerns regarding the new Mackenzie-Wisman Bridge, which is expected to be completed within the next 2 years. He noted that the council has not yet been consulted by the government about its responsibilities for the maintenance and management of that bridge once it is operational. The Georgetown Public Hospital has commissioned a $210 million boiler system that is intended to enhance operational efficiency and patient care at the country's primary health institution. At the commissioning on Wednesday, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony, while applauding the hospital on its latest acquisition, underscored the importance that the boiler system plays in the area of sterilization.
Having steam in the hospital for sterilization is a very important thing. And if that is not working effectively, then it can create problems for us in terms of infection control. So I'm very happy that we've been able to resolve this.
The Georgetown Hospital's Chief Executive Officer Rubio said the boiler system will help the hospital to better sterilize materials, including linens and equipment used by the hospital.
Most importantly, they need steam in the central sterilization unit for re-sterilizing of instruments that we use for surgeries and even preparations of gauze that we use for dressings of wounds, etc.
The CEO also told reporters that the existing boilers were in a deplorable state and it was important for them to be replaced.
We have 3 boilers. These boilers were in a very deplorable state. In 2021, when I came back to the hospital, I realized that there was little to no maintenance was done on these boilers, so they have deteriorated. And also, because they have deteriorated, the quality and the quantity of steam that it was producing has affected many things, including our sterilizer. We had to replace one sterilizer last year, and we are replacing another one this year, and it's consequent to some of the challenges that we have here.
He said due to the state of the boilers, the water purification system at the hospital was also severely affected, resulting in it becoming dysfunctional.
They disconnected the entire water treatment system, so it was untreated water was going to the boiler as well, which compromised the quality and the quantity of steam.
Mr. Rambaran said since 2021, the Georgetown Hospital has made significant investments to improve the operations of the hospital and the quality of services being offered.
Yeah, you already know it's yours truly, Nani Katoy, the queen of zest.
If you take people, man, clap your hand, boy. If you take people, man, clap your hand,
Wait, Bobby?
Hi, Granny.
You know the Nelly song?
How you mean? Plus, she coming for a creek explosion Sunday, April 20th.
Creek explosion? Which creek? And is who bringing she?
The creek by Splash Main, Aziza Akusa, and his Team Extra bringing she.
Team Extra? Let me call Freddie.
Hello, Granny.
Hi, bye.
What going on?
You bringing Nelly Katoy and you even put me on the show? Like you was a kunumunu or what?
Don't say fat, you're booking you now.
Galang, Granny.
Let me see the flyer. Oh, female dancing competition over 160,000 given away. Plus male dance off for 1 motorbike.
Music by Bobby Kush, DJ Magnum, DJ Garwin, David Hype, and Papa Feelings.
I giddy up and get your early bird tickets for $2,000 at Team Extra Stabrook Market. Just your size boutique, White Castle Fish Shop, and Fireside Sweets. Brick Explosion, compliments of Fireside and Team Extra.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil, has now repositioned itself as market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio called on Prime Minister Stuart Young to support moves against Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro's administration during a bilateral meeting in Kingston, Jamaica on Wednesday. The U.S. State Department issued a limited statement on the discussions afterwards, saying Rubio and Young spoke on the Trump administration's decision to name the dangerous Venezuelan gang Tren de Agua as a foreign terrorist organization, FTO, and encouragement for regional partners to take similar steps. The State Department added, and I quote, Secretary Rubio encouraged Prime Minister Young to join the United States and other Caribbean democracies in limiting malign influence in the region, end of quote. However, the statement said nothing on the contentious topic of the Dragon gas field located in Venezuelan waters, which TNT has been hoping to exploit with the backing of the U.S. The Trump regime has taken a hard stance against Venezuelan oil and gas extraction, production, and sales by threatening heavy sanctions against countries that do energy business with the Maduro regime. Bolivian President Luis Arce declared a national emergency on Wednesday after torrential rains and severe floods left more than 50 people dead and displaced more than 100,000 across the country. All 9 of Bolivia's departmental regions have been affected by the heavy rains, with 1 being designated in a state of disaster and 3 others in a state of emergency. During a press conference, the president said over 370,000 families have been affected by rains. Bolivia, with a population of over 12 million, typically has its rainy season from November to March. And finally tonight, international news. 6 people have died after a tourist submarine sank in Egypt's Red Sea, according to the BBC. Local officials say 39 others were rescued after the vessel sank at around 10 hours local time. Unconfirmed reports suggested the vessel hit a reef and lost pressure. 2 married doctors are among those who have died, and their daughters remain in hospital, authorities said. A Russian official said that 2 others who died were children, according to TASS, Russia's state-owned news agency. This is the second incident involving a tourist vessel in the Red Sea in recent months. In November, a boat capsized, which left 11 people missing, presumed dead. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.